Right, what is up, everybody? So, very quick video today. There's been a lot of changes in the last couple of months since my previous video. If you haven't watched my previous video on tips for Linux gamers coming from Windows, I'll link it somewhere. Have a look at that video. But there's a few updates, things I want to just mention. First of all, the X11 and the Wayland, okay? The reason why I recommended that you stick to X11 back in the day and in some of my other videos is that a lot of the applications, if you use things like pen tablets and other, UPS software or whatever the case may be, some software just simply works with X11 and not with Wayland. Like it won't even start with Wayland. The other day, I actually had something Android related. It was a GUI to connect to an Android phone by ADB and disable a bunch of services. But it was a GUI. It didn't run in Wayland. Okay, so that's the reason. But for gaming, obviously, and I say obviously, but this might not be so obvious for everyone, is that you actually need Wayland to do variable refresh rate, HDR, anything like that. So if you've got FreeSync or HDR monitors, stuff like that, you want to run Wayland, okay? Sorry. And then that's one thing. But I would still recommend having X11 installed as a fallback because let's face it, not everybody uses their computers exclusively for gaming, okay? Sometimes you might have some other software and it's just not running. More often times than not, it's a Wayland versus X11 thing. You log out of your session, log back into your X11 session, and the software works. For me, I've got a workaround with my pen tablet software. The way I'm getting it to work is to set the usable space across both screens, and then wherever my cursor is, that's where it allows me to use the pen on that monitor. For some weird reason, that's how it works in Wayland. X11, it functions as you would imagine. The other thing is you definitely want to give NT-Sync a try, which means you currently, I believe, Proton Experimental does not ship with NT-Sync as default, so you have to enable it on a per game basis, which can be a pain. So I would recommend you use the latest version of Glorious Egg Rolls Proton, or Proton GE. The reason why I say that is Proton GE has it basically set to use NT-Sync by default. Now, NT-Sync isn't going to triple your frame rate or anything crazy like that, not in all titles anyways, but it will benefit your 1% lows, it will benefit people who have experienced micro stutters, anything CPU related, it's definitely going to help. Any very CPU intensive games will definitely have a benefit, or if you're playing at high frame rates, which generally mean that you are running higher CPU usage, it'll benefit you there as well. I've noticed a significant change in frame time fluidity or frame time constantness, if you will, in shooters, some like fast-paced shooters. Splitgate comes to mind. And then in Guild Wars 2, there's a little bit certain sections. It's a little bit harder to gauge on Guild Wars 2 because it's so dynamic all the time. But it does feel like it's a little bit better using NT-Sync. So definitely go grab the latest Proton GE and use that on your games that are very high demanding. If you don't want to grab Proton GE and you're using Proton Experimental, there is a command line option you have to run for each game. I forget what it is, but you can probably find it. So currently I actually have Proton 1034 GE set as my default just for everything. And if I do run into a problem, I go and change it. So I'm no longer running Proton Experimental, but the main benefit is from the NT-Sync. So it is beneficial. Like I said, it's not going to triple your frame rates or anything. And if it's a graphically demanding game that taxes your graphics card way more than your CPU, you probably won't see much of a difference. Perhaps only in those 1% lows or 0.1% lows. you might see your frame time graph is a little bit more straight and smooth. And yeah, that's all I just wanted to say. Thank you so much for listening to me ramble. Please do leave a like, a comment, and subscribe. Low effort video today, very, very low. Yeah. Also, check out my other videos. Check out my previous video. I am consulting for people who want to move from Windows over to Linux. So if you're still in the Windows kind of side of things and you're watching this purely just because you've been interested in Linux gaming, do reach out and chat to one another in the comments. On one of my previous videos about Unigine benchmarks, someone had an issue. So yeah, if you do have issues, please do remember, if you want us to help you, generally the open source community is quite helpful. Post your system, post your specs, what you're trying to do, what Windows system you're running, Wayland X11, all that stuff. Then we can try and help you out with your system. Cool. That's it from me. Take it easy. Sorry about the extremely low effort video today. I didn't even have a transition or anything going. But yeah, I just thought I'd make a quick one. Bye.